Health officials paused the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine after the discovery of a rare side effect.
Businesses across the area are hiring, but not everybody's ready to return to the workplace. I'm Chris Warner with some tips on what you can do if you're facing anxiety about getting back to work.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
4 staters and people around the nation have at least temporarily lost access to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine after the discovery of a rare side effect. This is KOAM News at 10. The CDC and FDA recommend a pause in use of the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. This comes after the U.S. reported 6 rare but severe blood clots from the vaccine. Those 6 cases are the only incidents reported among the 6.8 million doses administered in the U.S. Local health officials say those who've received this vaccine already should not be alarmed.
So they're still safe and effective, but there are going to be those rare cases, and certainly CDC wants to take every precaution, and so they're going to pause with the Johnson & Johnson until we find out exactly what's going on.
Bergner says if you received this vaccine and start to develop severe headache, abdominal pain, leg pain, or shortness of breath within 3 weeks of your dose, you should seek medical attention with your primary care physician. Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma health leaders have joined other states in suspending distribution of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Masks are now optional for students in the Cherryvale, Kansas school district instead of mandatory. The school board made the decision last night. The board also voted to cease daily temperature checks and to eliminate social distancing requirements in classrooms. The board voted 5-1 in favor of the measures that they say will return an element of normalcy to the students. Checking in with Nick Kelly now. It's getting kind of chilly out there, Nick.
And not only that, we are starting to see those rain chances perk up. Actually, they've been perking up over the past few hours now, but not before. We thankfully had a mild day, but that has come to an end now. 52 to start this morning and the high of 64 at Joplin Regional. The Skywatch storm tracker showing any rain reaching the ground, along with some maybe moderate pockets of rain and an occasional thunderstorm. Along and south of I-44, we've seen some rain earlier in our northern counties today, but now the focus for any additional rain is shifting in our southern counties as we see an additional upper level wave coming in from the west, and that will also keep the cloud cover in play for the overnight hours as well. As far as temperatures, Iowa's definitely cool at 47. Everyone else mainly in the lower to middle 50s. So quick look at our day for tomorrow. Has those rain chances in our southern counties through the overnight, maybe a few lingering by the morning drive. Otherwise, everyone's cool with lows near 46. Tomorrow overall, though, we're looking dry, partly sunny and mild with highs near 64. We'll break down the rest of the forecast here in a bit. All
right, we'll catch you then. Thanks, Nick. As more people get vaccines, many have returned to the workplace, but not everyone is ready for that. KOAM's Chris Warner looks at the work anxiety some face.
Era Stone was a temp dental hygienist before the pandemic, but that changed as more was learned about the coronavirus.
I put a stop to that when the pandemic hit because reports were coming out saying dental hygiene was one of the highest risk occupations during this pandemic.
She decided to take a break to reduce the risk of bringing COVID home to her family. Many employers across the area in many different sectors are hiring for workers, but there are a number of people out there not ready to go back. For Stone, some of it's anxiety, the other is the ease of working from home.
It's made it so where I really have no desire to go back into working with people face-to-face when an online gig is available.
For those facing anxiety, Sarah Dodson at Mercy Hospital in Joplin says there are some things you can do, like keeping a journal.
No one else has to see it. It's a safe place. You can vent all of your fears, all of your hopes, all of your dreams, and then you can write down what the pros and cons are of what you're facing and look at those fears. Are they a rational fear or is it an irrational fear that is most likely not going to happen?
Dodson says there's also things an employer can do.
Open communication between the employee and the employer, that will help reduce the anxiety because then you know what the fears are and you can address them head on.
If you are facing anxiety, Dodson says to try and turn your mental clock back.
Just look back and remember how it was before and try to roll with the punches and remember that we have all become very adaptable.
And as for Stone, she's just waiting for the right time.
I'm not opposed to going back to in-person, but I approach it very cautiously at this point. Until more vaccines are out and we get the green light to return to some semblance of normalcy, I'm just listening to the professionals that know more than I do.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Dotson says it's important to do what makes you feel safe and comfortable before returning to in-person work. And that brings us to today's KOAM News Now Instapoll. We've been asking, are you ready to return to your workplace? Your options are yes, no, or I'm already back in my workplace. You can participate in the poll at koamnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. The results are updated live, and we're going to check in on them, have the final numbers a little bit later in this newscast. Many four-staters are waiting for their federal tax returns as the IRS works through a backlog caused by the pandemic. Some local tax professionals say a number of things are working against the IRS. Tax season didn't start until February, for starters. That's a month later than usual. The pandemic has slowed a lot of things down, and the department has been working to process stimulus payments at the same time as working on tax refunds that are often more complex than normal.
The IRS always has a "where's my refund" tool. And so if you filed your return and you're like, man, where is my refund? You can Google "where's my refund IRS" and it'll bring up the tool. You'll need your return handy because they'll ask you some specific information from that. And you can type in the information and you can ideally get the results.
The experts say if you check on that tool and it says your return is still processing, you're good. You'll just have to wait until the IRS can finish it. A Jasper County judge has granted a change of venue in a Lawrence County murder trial. Attorneys for Gary Hunter Jr. were pushing for the change of venue due to media coverage of the case. They said their client would not get a fair trial in the region. Today, a judge approved their request, allowing for jury selection in the Kansas City area, Jackson County, Missouri to be specific. The jury will be transported to Lawrence County for trial. Hunter Jr. is one of 10 people charged in connection with the shooting death of Sarah Pasco in August of last year. You can read more about the investigation on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Missouri lawmakers are advancing a sweeping firearms bill that would allow concealed guns on public transportation and in churches. The Missouri House gave initial approval to the bill in a voice vote. Currently, people need permission to bring firearms into places of religious worship. The bill would allow people with concealed carry permits to bring guns into churches, synagogues, and mosques, regardless of whether they have a permit. Another provision in the bill would ensure that gun stores are considered essential businesses. That means the state and cities couldn't order them closed during emergencies such as the coronavirus pandemic. Still ahead, it's Child Abuse Prevention Month, and tonight we're going to look at some of the ways mandated reporters identify potential cases of abuse and how you can help. And later, the nationally ranked Missouri Southern baseball team welcomes in Drury to kick off a 10-game homestand. It's Child Abuse Prevention Month, and for health professionals, identifying environments and behaviors that show potential risk of abuse is one of the most effective tools in preventing it. They say some signs to look for in potential abuse include parents with impulse control issues and substance abuse. They also say environmental factors like poverty could place a child at greater risk. Health professionals like Dr. Amanda Dickerson are required to watch for the signs of child abuse, but you can also play a role in prevention.
In any case, you don't have to be a mandated reporter to report. You can be a layperson. But if you have any index of suspicion that that could be abuse, report it and let the people that are supposed to investigate that figure it out.
Dickerson says nationally 1 in 7 children has experienced abuse or neglect. Kansas Treasurer Lynn Rogers was in Pittsburgh today to return some unclaimed property to PSU, $1,800. Might not be a lot to a university, but to 33 million Americans who have unclaimed property, it could mean a lot more. Rogers describes unclaimed property as financial accounts or items of value in which the owner has not initiated any activity for several years. You can check whether you have unclaimed property online.
where you can plug in your name and your city and check it out and see if there's any money that's available to you. We also encourage people to check any city that they've lived in, and they might check under different names, maybe a maiden name, or if their name is often misspelled, check it under that way as well.
We're providing a link for you to check for yourself on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Kansas currently has more than $400 million in assets to return. So head over and find out if some of that is yours. The Joplin Police Department took a virtual assessment today for reaccreditation with the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. Accreditation is a voluntary way to show a law enforcement agency's ability to meet professional criteria. It requires departments to meet standards in 4 basic areas: policy and procedures, administration, operations, and support services. The public was also invited to offer comments during that meeting. Nick Kelly is up next with his complete forecast, and later Crowder Baseball is on a 25-game winning streak. They look to make it 26 against NEO. We're going to have the highlights in sports.
It was nice to see things relatively quiet for much of the day, but now another wave working in. Another chance for rain and storms for some of you as we venture through the rest of the night ahead of us. At least for the most part, though, the time-lapse indigo sky outside of Seneca didn't look so bad overall. Granted, we had a lot of cloud cover that actually allowed us to only drop off into the 50s this morning. But thanks to partly sunny skies, we made it back into the lower to middle 60s. Below normal, sure, for the middle of April, but it's still mild, so we'll take it, considering how chilly it's actually going to get by this weekend. In the short term, though, our partly sunny skies we had this afternoon turning back to mostly cloudy skies again as another upper level wave sneaks in with more moisture, more energy to work with, and more lift. That has resulted in some scattered rain and thunderstorms, especially in our southern counties. So what looks like rain in our northern counties on the radar, that's actually moisture higher up in the clouds. It's not reaching the ground. If you want rain that's reaching the ground, we got to zoom in a little bit to our southern counties, right along the turnpike in Oklahoma and along and south of 60 in southwestern Missouri. That's where we have pockets of light to moderate rain, even a couple of thunderstorms. Nothing too crazy though, but that's what's going to stick around as we go throughout the course of the night. At least in Joplin, you're quiet, cloud cover around shore, but that's keeping you at 53 right now with a north breeze at 5 miles per hour. Outside of the Joplin city limits, we have 47 already in Iola. Everybody else, though, still trying to hold on between 50 and 55 degrees. Eventually, though, we're going to join Iola during the overnight and drop temperatures back mainly into the mid 40s. 50 by 2 a.m., 46 by the time the morning drive gets underway. Fortunately, I don't see any rain chances during the day tomorrow with more sunshine, at least partly sunny skies. We'll enjoy highs back near 64 for many of you as we continue into our Wednesday. Let me take you back to the mast. Let's broaden the view out rather. Not seeing a whole lot of signs of systems at first glimpse, but our previous cold front actually stalled out across the southern U.S. That's not doing anything for us, but upstairs at the jet stream level, another subtle wave riding along the jet. That's what's brought in the cloud cover and the rain chances for tonight. Then there's this guy. This upper low over Nevada, or the state of Nevada rather, that's what's headed our way for the week, and that's what's going to lead to a wet, cloudy, and downright chilly weekend. If our system can let us get to the future track, we'll break down how we look for the rest of the night. There we go. The showers and storms in our southern counties, that's where they'll stay during the overnight. They could try to sneak up to Joplin, Parsons, and Columbus. I think that's as far north as they'll go. Maybe a few showers by the morning drive, but we'll get rid of that and we'll stay partly sunny and dry and mild for the rest of the day, despite a northeast breeze in place. 46 in the morning, 60 by noon. Afternoon highs, not bad, right around 64. Then we'll see if another quick little wave tomorrow night can bring us a few more showers again in our southern counties before we stay relatively quiet and mild again with highs near 60 on Thursday. Big change coming for the weekend though. There's that low coming out of Nevada. Light to moderate rain, periods of it with plenty of cloud cover for Friday. And this unsettled pattern continues to keep mostly cloudy skies and rain chances in the forecast through the weekend. As far as temperatures go, 64 tomorrow, 60 on Thursday, 50 degrees if we're lucky for a high on Friday. Lower 50s continue through the weekend now before, thankfully, we head back to 63 on Monday.
It'll be chilly this weekend, but spring is here and it will get warmer.
Yes, it will.
Thanks, Nick. It's homecoming week for NEO A&M College in Miami, and they're throwing a festival for students. Neocella, named after the music festival Coachella, featured a talent show, axe throwing, and an obstacle course, among other activities. For some of the students, it was a welcome respite from what's been a really weird year.
I am so excited because this is like what you normally see during a college experience. Because being a freshman, it's a little harder this year because of COVID and everything. We don't get that same first freshman year experience. But seeing this puts a little bit of normalcy on it.
Neocella took place in the parking lot of the college's Nursing Science building. Coming up in sports, a former Pittsburgh High School standout plans to reunite with a familiar face to continue her basketball career. And Missouri Southern baseball hosts Drury in their final non-conference game of the season. Jacob Leonard has details next.
The Missouri Southern Lions are 21-6 this season and ranked number 9 in the latest collegiate baseball poll released on Monday. Now, the Lions continue a 10-game homestand this afternoon, hitting the field against Drury. And this one, final non-conference game of the season for Missouri Southern. Bottom of the second inning, Jordan Fitzpatrick down the right field line. That will plate 2. Lions, though, down 1 to the 4th. Bases loaded for Tommy Stevenson. Big swing there. Sends it over the fence and left for the grand slam. Makes the score 6-3 after 4 complete. At bottom of the 6th, Stevenson back to work, this time down the left field line. Stevenson drives in 5 today. He's second in the league with 36 RBIs this season. Lions get it done 10-3. They're 22-6 with 12 games to go. Pittsburgh State also in action today. Gorillas face Emporia State in a non-conference game. PSU rolls big 12-1. Garrett McGowan goes 1 for 2 with a home run. Dawson Pomeroy 2 for 3 with a double and a pair of RBIs. The Crowder College Rough Riders are on a 25-game winning streak. The Rough Riders are 33-4 overall this season and ranked number 5 in the nation. Tonight, Crowder faces NEO at Joe Becker Stadium. It's a military appreciation night in Joplin. Bottom of the second, Frankie Cercello out to right field. That plates 2. Game tied at 2 after 1. Top of the third, big inning for NEO. Tyler Small finds the grass out in left center. Brings a runner home. NEO back in front. Very next batter, this time to right center. That allows Small to head home from second. NEO pushes the lead to 2. Later in the same inning, James Dunlap to the right side. Crowder trying to turn 2, but it turns into another run for the Norseman. This one takes 4 hours tonight, but Crowder comes back to win it 10-9 in 11 innings. At the high school level, rematch here of the Bill Odell Tournament Championship. Carl Junction, open COC play against Carthage. And Noah Southern doing what he does, gets it all the way to the fence out there. Carson Johnson comes around to score from second. Southern easily into third. Next batter, it's Alex Baker. He'll bring Southern home. Carl Junction ends up getting 3 in the first inning. Carthage gets some back in the third. Kanan Vogt drops it into center. Scores Caden Krolichek, but after that, Bulldogs take over. Alex Baker back to work. Chopper up the middle. Noah Southern trots in. Then it's Kyler Perry going the other way. Baker comes home. CJ finishes it off in 5 tonight, winning 12-2. Former Pittsburgh High School standout Taylor Muff will graduate and transfer from the University of Northern Colorado. Muff played volleyball for 4 years at Northern Colorado, but now she will play basketball in her final year of eligibility at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. There, she will play under former Pitt State head coach Lane Lord, who was the women's head coach at PSU. At the time, Muff's father was the men's head coach for the Gorillas.
Coach Lord, I've always had such a special place in my heart for him. As you know, my oldest sister, Alex, got to go play her 5th year of basketball for him, had a great experience. And then also Logan, his daughter, who was my best friend in high school, is going to be down there. And so we get to spend some time together, which I'm super excited about.
You can check out our full story with Muff and her new head coach, Lane Lord, on the sports page at KOAMNewsNow.com. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran, Sergeant Howard Clements. The Lamar, Missouri native served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute Sergeant Howard Clements as tonight's 4th state hero. We're going to check back in with our KOAM News Now Insta poll. Again, we're asking, are you ready to return to your workplace? 3% say yes, 24% say no. Vast majority, 73% say, I've already returned. This poll is now closed. Thanks for participating. An architect in Italy is betting the future of home building uses both the newest technology and the oldest materials. Mario Cucinella has developed a prototype for the first 3D printed home made from clay. It's located in the small town of Massa Lombarda. The home, called Tekla, is built from soil found at the site, mixed with water, fibers from rice husks, and a binder. It includes a living area, a bedroom, and a bathroom. The prototype is currently undergoing structural and thermal performance testing. It's an essential step before the project can be scaled. Wow. Yeah, 3D home using the existing materials on site.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, it is. The weather is going to be getting increasingly cool in the days ahead.
At least we can enjoy a few more mild days before the chill kicks in, Dow. 64 for your Wednesday, dry during the day, 60 on Thursday, lower 50s for the weekend with clouds and plenty of rain chances on the way.
Thanks, Nick, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.